I am up and live. Let's go. Hey,
Alrighty.
we got audio. We're
Uh,
here.
yeah, we got audio, we got everything. Hi everyone, welcome to the stream. I'm Kel McDonald. I make comics you can read at kelmcdonald.com.
And I am Alina Pete, and I make comics that you can read at alinapete.com or at weregeek.com.
Um,
It's, yeah,
we skipped a week because you were prepping for VanCAF.
yeah.
So how was VanCAF?
VanCAF was awesome. I really
Good.
enjoyed seeing everybody again. Like, it was like, hey, I had this moment of looking around at all the tables and being like, we're here, we made it through the storm. And we're all still creating comics and coming out to this like thing that's become kind of an institution where it's like I don't normally see other living cartoonists. I just like in my house and I'll talk to you online and stuff, but like actually seeing your face or like going other humans, was kind of powerful. It was neat to all be there.
Good.
Yeah. I don't have the bandwidth to like draw funny little animals tonight, so I'm just writing our names on a black screen. That's
Good.
us. We're here. We're doing this stream. Good
We
God,
exist.
y'all.
And it's public. Got announced yesterday that Seven Seas is unionizing.
Which is
Um,
awesome. Congrats.
and you asked like what would that mean? So the
Yeah,
website that we made has our demands on it, which is basically
good.
um we don't officially have any days off. Like they kind of told
Right.
us like, well, as long as you get your work done, um
You
we
can
don't
take
care how
time. Yeah.
many days you have that are officially working. Um and that sounds good in the interview, but
Yeah.
then they give you
How
so
does
much
that work
work that it's
practically?
kind of hard to get stay ahead of things.
Yeah.
Um and it's less of a problem for me since I'm new. Because uh they haven't loaded me up with as much work as some of the older editors or the
Right, right.
editors that have been there longer.
Yeah.
But it's super bad for like the pre-press people.
Right.
Um, and there's like only one person proofreading all the books,
Right.
and Seven Seas is on track to put out 700 books this year. So
Ooh, that is a couple books. Yikes.
yeah, so like one person in charge of proofreading all those is
That's a lot. That's a
they
lot to
need
be
help.
responsible for. Yeah.
Yeah, so um
So it's like crunch won't help get out of these weeds.
so yeah, so it's like give us raises, give us healthcare, hire more people,
Hell yeah,
have
healthcare.
official days off. So
Cool. Well, that's really awesome. I am very glad
yeah.
that they're pushing for that, and I hope you can get some days off for reals.
Some like official planned days off.
Yeah.
So and like some of those are like the printer is closed anyway, so why are
Right.
we all
Right.
working when the printer isn't going to answer our emails anyway?
Yeah. Exactly.
Kind of deal.
I tell you what was neat about VanCAF this year was they
Yeah.
really like they've always been pretty conscious of the fact that this is unceded land, and they were the first ones to do the land acknowledgement comics. They
Mhm.
VanCAF got Cole Pauls a couple years back to do like a so this is what land acknowledgements are kind of all about, and this is why we do them comic that was hung up
Mhm.
all around the Roundhouse Center when the con was taking place. And I was like, that's really good because a lot of people don't understand. A lot of white people don't understand
It's
why we
good
do land
good
acknowledgements.
like informative bit.
Exactly. Yeah. And in comics, which, Comics Festival, that's the way you do it. But this year,
Yeah.
they'd apparently been getting a lot of people being like, well, like, are there native people who do comics? And where are they? And can we talk to them? And they were like, yeah, we've
And
been
then they
here
said, "Here's
literally every
Alina,
year.
talk
Hi.
to them."
Yeah. And, well, not just me, like,
Yeah.
or like Cole or like 5 different other people who are there every year and have been for like at least 3 or 4 years. So this year they did a like magazine, kind of like a newspaper zine thing that was like called Salmon Run, and it was like, here are all of these native comic people telling their stories. Go to their tables and buy their stuff. So it just really made, look, native people are
Yeah.
still here doing comics, super visible and in people's faces, and I'm really glad they did that.
Good. Good. I've just been rewatching DS9 while you were at VanCAF.
Good. I
And
the
Corey Bing linked me to this artist that redesigned all the aliens from Star
huh,
Trek to make them look weirder.
good. So not just people with
Um,
foreheads.
yes. Not just people with foreheads, people with their cuz and this was prompted cuz I don't know if you saw my tweet a couple of days ago is I asked if the Cardassians are lizards.
Right.
Cuz they kind of look scaly.
Yeah.
And
They got like a
said that they
forehead
like,
crest thing going on.
yeah, well also their like necks have like scales on them.
Yeah.
Um and So I asked that on Twitter, which was a mistake because then I had randos being like, "Well, we can't like taxiderm like use earth categories for blah blah like
Right. For
people getting
non-Terran
all in."
species.
Yeah, and I was like, that doesn't, yes or
It's
no, are they lizards?
yeah.
So then I just messaged Ryan North
Oh, good.
and
Ryan would
it
know.
was like, you would know.
Yeah.
And
Ryan,
Ryan told me
solve this problem for me.
that they were based off snakes, so
Ah.
lizards is close enough.
Yeah, that makes sense.
But Corey Bing's response was to link me to an artist that, because the Cardassians are snakes, redesign them to be more snaky.
Oh, good. I love it.
So they have like slit eyes and sharp teeth.
Oh, good.
Uh, and then she gave them tails.
Good.
Um,
Good. Like a little
that have like,
Argonian like.
yeah. And a fun thing is the tails that this artist gave them had like a tuft of hair on the end.
Oh, neat.
So and then eventually she's like, actually their hair are feathers. So
Oh,
they're
I like
like
it. Good.
dinosaur people now.
Good.
Um but since they're snakes, and their conflict is with them being horrible to the Bajorans,
Yes. Are the
um
Bajorans like mice?
she redesigned them to be rodenty.
Good. I love
Um,
it.
so then the Bajorans, because they got big rodenty ears, there's more room for their fancy earrings.
Good.
And they kind of have like buck teeth, chipmunk teeth.
Hang on.
Um,
Hang on a second.
and I was like,
I want to see if I can find this A.
uh, what'd you say?
I want to see if I can find this artist, A. But also, like, I'm looking up some Bajoran lore.
Yeah.
Because, like, famous Bajorans, right?
Well, the other thing is, and this is the thing that stuck in my head
No.
is, I don't like Dax. I think Dax is a boring character.
Right.
I think Dax is. I feel like all the Dax plots are Dax needs to be rescued,
Mm-hmm.
or Dax's past life did something cool.
Yes. Yeah.
But current Dax, that is a character that
Suffers
is
from
in
female character
DS9,
syndrome.
is everyone likes her and she's good at everything,
Yeah.
and I think she's boring.
Yeah. They
So
were
this
so close to almost doing interesting storylines with her.
I feel like someone was like, "Well, I like that she fucks," and it's like, "But does she fuck? Because she talks about fucking, but we don't see any evidence. Like there are no
Yeah.
like ex-boyfriends or
Yeah.
ex-girlfriends
It was also
or
maybe
like
a little early for there to be like trans plots, but there definitely should have been some trans plots because like she has been a lot of different genders in her time.
mhm.
People know her as different genders, but are like have updated her
Yeah.
name and pronouns
I y-
to her current
I
life.
feel I feel like the second Dax in the show, I liked her more because she was a big mess.
Yes.
And
We want our
so
brain parasites to be as messy as possible.
and so like if I was gonna write a character like Dax, I would have her like maybe be slightly obsessed with experiencing new things.
Good, good.
Um
That's a good place to start.
uh and I just think like she's a lot of wasted potential. And then Corey sent me this artist's redesign of the Trills.
Oh, good. I,
And
I
the
didn't find
Trills
it,
are
by the way,
weird.
but I'm very curious.
The Trills are weird newt creatures. Like
Oh, I love it. Oh, good.
and so since Corey linked me to this what if the Trills were weird newt creatures? Now every time I'm watching a Dax scene, I'm like, this would be better if she was a newt.
If there was a
Uh,
newt in her head, I love it. I thought they were going to
no,
go a
no,
little bit
no.
yerk
She's a
with
newt
it.
and then has a worm inside the newt.
Oh, that's even better.
Um
Like a
yeah,
weird nematode that has infected her brain,
yes.
which definitely
So
happens.
yes. So basically it's stuff like I think Bashir's great, but in season 1 they kind of lean on he keeps hitting on Dax.
Yes,
And
a
that's
lot.
boring.
That's really
What if
boring.
Dax was a weird newt creature? That says a lot about Bashir if he wants
Yes.
to fuck the weird newt
And
creature.
makes me a little interested in him, actually. It's like, so what's your deal, dude?
Yeah.
Why are you into the
So
newts so much?
I just sent you Newt Dax.
Oh, I need Newt Dax in my life, please.
I just sent it to you on Discord.
Oh, he's so cute. She's so good.
So
Love it, love it, love it,
she's
love
so
it.
cute. So if you had this weird newt creature talking about fucking everyone,
I am
I'd
into
be
this.
I'm super on board. And then like there's a part where Dax is like telling Kira like, "Hey, my planet has like these great hot spring massage parlors." And I was
Mm-hmm.
like, this weird newt creature with multiple arms, like if all of the Trills were these weird newt creatures, that makes their massage parlors like also more interesting.
She's got like five arms, six arms, and 2 legs. That'd be a hell of a
4
massage.
arms and then 2 feet.
You know what?
It
This
looks like.
character does not look like it belongs in Star Trek, but it would be perfectly in place in Farscape. Like, that is a Farscape creature right there. And I love them.
But imagine if Dax was this little newt.
That's my new
And
headcanon. Dax is a good newt creature.
this little newt impresses Worf by
Yes.
fighting him.
Yes.
And then Worf ends up fucking the little newt.
I love it. I love it.
Yeah. So Dax should be a newt.
Yes.
That's just it.
I'm here for Newt Dax.
Yeah.
I love. There's. I can't show this on the stream because it's somebody else's art. But there's a panel at the bottom of the little newt creature with like 6 pairs of arms getting dressed, and their belly is translucent, so you can see the symbiote like all curled up inside the belly. It's very good.
Yes. Yes.
I love that. I love that it's creepy and it's very good.
And so if Bashir was trying to fuck this little newt creature,
hell yes, Bashir, get it.
It says a lot about him because I think everyone else that Bashir tries to get with, because let's be real, Garrick and Bashir are definitely fucking.
Oh God, yes. Oh yes.
And then the other person that Bashir goes after is Lita, and if Lita looks like a weird rodent creature,
yes.
And then Dax is a newt, and then Garrick is a snakier, but it was basically like the Cardassians got the like smallest redesign because they're already very
Kinda snaky. Yeah, you don't have to snake hard to make them snakier.
Yeah, you don't have to change them much. So if Bashir is like making a list of weird aliens that he's fucked. um,
I suddenly love this character.
yeah.
I wish he
I
were
love
real.
Bashir. I love Bashir. After season 1 when he stops trying to fuck Dax.
Yes, yeah.
Because Bashir and Garrick are my ship.
Good, good.
That's my queer ship for Star Trek. My hetero ship is Quark and his Klingon wife, because
Oh, yes.
that is, I think, my favorite DS9 episode, House of
That's just a
Quark.
good dynamic.
Yeah. She big and she can crush him.
Yes, good.
Um,
Yes. She big, he goo. He's
yeah.
small.
And this artist also made the Ferengi based off like Sphinx cats.
Oh, I love it.
So like they don't look that different, but like their ears are more expressive.
Good.
Which, like, that's good for cartooning, but I think I actually like that the Ferengi's ears are so inflexible, because as far as like alien biology things go, like us as earthlings would expect big ears to be expressive, but if they are
Yeah,
like that attached to their head, that
they
does
would
kind of
be.
imply an alienness.
Yeah.
um but I love
It's very
all
Sphinx
the
cat to though to be like leaning into like a loving ear caress. To be like, oh
yeah.
yes, hello.
uh
I
so
have weird grooming habits because I am a hairless cat, so I do like it when someone rubs my weird ears.
yeah, so I really like all this artist's redesigns.
I love that. I can't get over that newt. That newt is the best thing I've ever seen.
Yeah, no, why isn't Dax a newt? Blue's been making fun of me because I keep being like, Dax should be a newt.
Yep. I love the show, but I would like it better if Dax was a newt.
Newt, yeah. Because and Blue was laughing at me because we were talking about like behind the scenes stuff. And in Next Generation, the Trill just have weird foreheads. Like so many other aliens. But
Yep.
apparently the lady that played Dax was allergic to the prosthetics.
Ah, makes
Which
sense.
is why Dax and the Trills in DS9 have spots.
Right.
So I was like, well, listen, she can't wear the makeup anyway, so might as well make her a newt.
Yep.
Cause she's just kind of boring hot lady in the show, in my opinion.
Oh, good. I clicked on the DS9 link and there is more art of these characters and I love them all.
Good.
I like the little snaky Cardassians. Cardassians, they're good. I like the little tails.
Yeah.
They look like Cardassians,
Yeah.
but with slightly snakier and with a tail, and it's very cute.
Yeah. Yes. I support the little tails.
Also,
And
this person's artist's art is just very good. This artist's art is.
Yeah.
Love it. Like the slightly mousy Ferengi as well.
Yeah. But yeah, no, I've been like slightly just obsessed with why isn't Dax a newt? But then other behind the scenes stuff that I was like looking up while rewatching is I didn't know the actor who played Rom almost became a professional baseball player.
Really?
Apparently in the baseball episode of DS9 he played left-handed because that was the only way he could convincingly play bad enough.
Good.
Uh,
I am too good at this game. I could have done it for my career.
yeah. And the guy who played Quark, his favorite episode is the Union episode.
Good.
Um,
Good.
because he is the chairman or on the committee for the Screen Actors Guild, so
Oh, excellent.
he's always buried in union shit.
Yep. It's also really good to be the bad guy in a Union episode. Just like, yes,
Mhm.
I could be the evil. Ha ha ha.
Well, the real bad guy is Jeffrey Combs. He's
Mm.
very good at being a bad guy.
Mm-hmm.
I really like the Ferengi feminism subplot that keeps popping up.
Yes.
I like Quark's mom.
Mm-hmm.
She got the lobes for business.
She do. She do though. God, I didn't watch DS9 for years because I didn't have cable, and then I was at like a friend's house one weekend. And I got super, super into it and borrowed some VHS tapes because that was the time, and like powered through a whole bunch of DS9.
I had seen zero Star Trek until the Chris Pine Star Trek movie came out.
Oh, really? Cool.
So I went into the Chris Pine movie blind. I was surprised to learn that Spock is half human.
Yes. Yeah.
And
That would be an
said
interesting
that
revelation. Yeah.
I said that to someone and they're like, "Oh, you weren't kidding when you said that you know like nothing about Star Trek."
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Cuz that's like his
That was
whole
always
thing.
his thing. Yeah.
And so
That was when they were still doing the slightly racist thing of like, oh, if we can't have a full alien on this show because no one will like them, that's too weird. They must be half and struggling to find their humanity. Just like all those other dirty half-breeds
yeah.
out there.
So
Banned.
the Chris Pine movie worked in that it got me someone who had no Star Treks in their life,
To
interested
be
enough
interested in Star Trek. Good.
to check out more Star Treks.
And it got me, who had already watched all of the Next Gen, but not any of the original series, to go like, this is interesting and fun. I'm still not sure I'll go back and watch the original series, but I did enjoy this.
So I then went back and I watched the original series. And mainly my takeaway from the original series is, oh, this was a Futurama episode. Oh, this was a Futurama episode. Oh,
Yeah.
Futurama episode.
Yep.
And then toward the end I was like, I could kind of see why they got canceled. It kind of seemed like they ran out of ideas, because I was like, how many episodes are going to be the crew runs into an alien with godlike powers that forces them to do something they
Yes,
don't
that they
want
do
to
not
do.
want to do, or to talk about their morality, or
Not even that, like, there are so many episodes where they basically, like, here's an alien race, and they can do all these things, and it basically makes them gods, and then here's another alien race, and they can do all these things, that basically makes them gods.
why can't humans do any
And
of this? I guess we suck.
yeah, like, there's the morality episodes, but there's, like, I feel like there's more episodes about the Greek gods are actually aliens, this thing is
Q,
actually
the
an
whole Q
alien, this
continuum.
is actually. Yeah. Um, and I liked my favorite episode of the original series was the Gangster Planet one.
Hmm.
Just because it was so ridiculous.
Yep. I mean, it's a whole planet of gangsters. That's
Yeah,
just
and
inherently
I like
funny.
the explanation of why Gangster Planet exists is that they're aliens that are very impressionable,
Yeah.
and someone like left a shitty noir book. So they're not even based off real gangster
No.
Chicago.
They
It's
just
like
They read about it on TV.
They
They
read
watched a
the,
show
like,
about it.
shittiest noir book,
Yes, good. And they're like,
and
this is our
based their
culture
whole
now.
civilization on it, yeah.
What
Um,
if? What if there was a planet that was a noir book? Go.
uh, and then I watched TNG,
Yeah.
and I thought TNG was okay, but my main problem was that everyone was too nice.
Hmm.
Um,
Yeah, everyone got along very well. It was just
um,
the thing an anxious little child needed in the
so
90s
so
to be
while
like
watching,
comforted.
while watching, Next Generation for the first time, I would watch, like, a couple episodes of Next Generation,
Yeah.
and then I would watch a couple episodes of Always Sunny in Philadelphia.
Oh, good. Just to really
Um,
get the whole spectrum of emotions.
yes, of human, morality.
Good. Good.
And then DS9 was the one that, like, really got me. The TNG episodes I like the best were the ones about Barkley because he answers all the dumb questions I had about Star Trek
Yep.
world building.
Yep.
Like, seems like these transporters break a lot.
And he's like, yeah,
Is
they sure
anyone
do.
like, hell no, I'm not gonna use those? And the answer is Barkley.
Yeah.
And it's like, does anyone use the holodeck to masturbate? Yes, the answer is Barkley.
Yes, correct. He's the one who does all of the things.
Yeah. So he's answering most of my dumb questions.
Good.
Um, and then DS9 answered my other dumb questions, like, what does someone on Earth do if they don't join Starfleet?
Yes.
And the answer is they fuck around.
Yeah, basically.
Uh,
There's always gonna be
and
humans that just want to
like,
like fuck around, just hang out.
yeah, and like, so if you don't want to explore the galaxy, like, what is life on Earth like? And I feel like DS9 gave me enough that I can, like, extrapolate.
Yep.
Because you get, like, Cisco's dad running a restaurant,
Yes.
um
Just because
and
he kind of wants to.
the Federation doesn't have money, but it is implied that, like, basically electricity is their currency.
Mm-hmm. So you
Um
kind of need to keep the lights on.
yeah, so it's like, okay, so you can use the transporter to travel all over Earth, but you can only do it so many times a month.
Yeah.
So you're not gonna, like, use your transporter ration
Credits. Yeah.
on going to the grocery store. You're gonna use it on, like,
Trip to
I'm gonna go to Paris.
somewhere. Yeah, exactly. There's a weird migration event on with these crazy birds. Let's go.
Yeah. Um so I was like, okay, cool. That, like, answers my dumb questions about what is life like on
On
Earth. And
on
the answer is
Earth.
that life is fucking rad.
Super rad. Everyone gets a house. There's no money. Get good medical care. No
Yeah.
one's shooting each other.
And yeah, so it's kind of like, oh,
It's pretty cool, actually. Pretty good.
good, good, good.
Good. Like this.
Yeah.
Good.
And then I really like the arc about Jake becoming a writer slash journalist.
Yes. I'm sure you've
I
seen the
feel
thing going
like
around on
I
Twitter and Tumblr that's just like there was Cisco actor, come on brain.
Avery Brooks.
Avery Brooks was at a panel and there was a black man in the audience who stood up and was like, I didn't have a great relationship with my father. Now that I'm a single dad, I like watch DS9 every night after I put my son to bed. And I was like, that's the kind of father I want to be. This is the only time I've seen a black man be represented having a really healthy relationship with his son, and that's what I want from life. And like everyone cried. Avery Brooks came down and like hugged him,
And
and
Avery Brooks has, like, talked about that in interviews.
yeah,
Like,
like that's huge.
that's why he really liked being on DS9. And
Yeah, like
um
how powerful is
I
that?
I feel like people are kind of down on Jake.
Yeah.
because he's the kid character.
People were down on the kid character a
Um,
lot, and I,
and the
yeah,
thing is like, okay, he's a kid character, but like, he's
he's
not
a good
Wesley.
character.
And
No,
Wesley's the worst.
well, and
Yeah.
Wesley's the worst because it was a time when they were like, "This is pulp," and to appeal to the kids, it's got to be like, "Gee, Willikers, Batman, what are we going to do now?" And that's
It's
the kind of kid
also
character he was.
Wesley has like also like the same problem that I have with Dax is that he's good at everything and everyone likes
Yes,
him, but it's like
yes,
even worse because he's a kid.
yeah,
So like
and then it
him
makes it
being good
even
at everything doesn't make sense.
no.
Like Dax being good at everything, I find it boring
But she's lived like
because
many lifetimes.
but she's 300 years
Yeah,
old.
I get
I
it.
think I think if people in the show didn't like Dax, I as a viewer might like Dax more because like if people are like, "Oh, Dax is insufferable because she knows everything."
Yes,
The way they treat Bashir,
yes.
if they also
If that
treated
was
Dax,
Dax, yeah.
I might like Dax more. But yeah, it just seems like Dax is everyone's best friend in the show, and
Mm-hmm.
it's like
Boring.
boring. Um, I like Cisco a lot. I think
Cisco's great.
Cisco's my favorite captain.
Yeah. I mean, Patrick Stewart will always be mine because I grew up on uh, TNG. But like of the non Picard captains, I do love Cisco.
Um, so yeah, so I watched all of DS9, and then I watched Voyager until I had the three really bad episodes, and then
Yes,
I didn't
yes.
get very
And then
far in episode.
nope. I really wanted to
Um,
love Voyager. I was like, Lady Captain, she's badass. I love it. Woo!
yeah,
We're going off into unexplored territory here. Let's go see some cool shit. And then I was like, wow, okay. Yep. That
yeah.
was a
It was just
thing.
like a three-way punch of like bad ideas.
Yep.
Uh,
Some
because I've told you because it's like Amelia Earhart is secretly been on this other planet for
yes,
years and
the
years
whole
and
time.
years.
Yep.
And then right after that, it's like Native American culture is actually from aliens.
Yep, that's the one boat
And
where I
then
was like, I'm fucking done with this. Okay, bye.
and then the one right after that is Chakotay, I have stolen your sperm to make my evil plot of having your baby. And I was like,
Yes. This is weird and I do not like this whole rape scenario. Let's go. Stop now. You can really tell they were not
did she
paying.
rape him or did she just steal his sperm
She just stole
somehow?
his sperm, which is still, considered a.
It's
he
still
he
a
did not
violation. It's
he did not
just
consent to
uh
this in any way.
yeah. Um but yeah, I was just like this is dumb as shit. I'm over
Yeah.
it.
Yeah, they were not paying for some high quality writing in those seasons. I was
And I
super
feel
done with
like
the like natives couldn't have come up with their culture on their own. It was aliens.
so DS9 is my favorite. Um I watched some of Discovery and um
It's a
I
thing.
I I I like parts of Discovery, but I also know Discovery does not feel like a Star Trek show.
Yeah.
So I understand why people who wanted more Trek came to this and then bounced off hard because it is way darker than anything else in
Mhm.
Trek.
Yep.
Um and I feel like the mirror captains coming to the regular world, like that is part of like while those characters were fun, it's part of this is why it's too dark.
Yes. Yeah. I don't like this guy's whole face. I'm erasing it.
Uh Anyway, Garrick and Bashir, my OTP.
Good.
Uh, just gotta kiss that
I can see
lizard.
it though. I can definitely see that one. That is not a
And,
rare
like, the
pairing.
actor for Garrick, said, like, they didn't tell him why Garrick would want to introduce himself to Bashir,
Right?
so he was like, "Well, I'll just make it seem like he really wants to fuck Bashir."
Good.
Like,
Good. This is a choice I'm
um
making, and it's the correct one.
and yeah, it is the correct one. Also, the guy who plays Bashir, Alexander Siddig, he when the pandemic started, he was doing dramatic readings of fan fictions about Bashir.
Oh, good.
They're all on YouTube.
Good.
Um, and one is a very long him and Garrick slash fic. And he
Oh,
got Garrick's
good.
actor to come in and dramatically read it with him. Um,
Amazing. Excellent.
so that's on YouTube if you so choose to partake. Um, the other thing is Bashir's actor through at the end of the Star Trek was married to Major Kira's actress.
Right.
Um, and their kid looks so much like both of them.
Oh, funky.
It's fucking like it's like
Just
if you like
surreal.
yeah, it's like if you took like Photoshop and like
Just merge their
lasso
faces.
tooled Kira's eyes and forehead and put them on Bashir's the rest of Bashir's head,
Right.
and
And you're
then
just like,
like
that's
did
what this
color
child looks like.
adjustment so the skin tone all matched.
Wow.
That's what their son looks like. Um and I know this because one of the fanfics that Alexander Siddig read on YouTube, he had his son dramatically read for like the young, inexperienced ensign character.
Good.
So it's like, holy shit, his kid looks so much like both him and his mom. Like,
Funky.
yeah. Uh,
Heredity of genes. It's a thing, and it's always weird to see.
it's like it's like that cartoon thing where they
Yes.
like
Just literally
take
combine two
the boy
things.
child and then give it mom's coloring or
Yep.
like yeah, it's basically that. Like if you told me to cartoon like make a cartoon child for both of those characters
That's what you
together,
would have done.
yeah. Um uh but also like people are always saying like because DS9 is dark, like Gene Roddenberry wouldn't like it. And I'm watching it and I'm like, I don't know, it's really horny, so maybe it would have been his jam.
Yeah. Some good horny sci-fi.
Like I just before getting on here I watched one of the Mirror Mirror episodes,
Oh yeah.
and in Mirror Wharf has Mirror Garrick in a collar and on a chain leash,
Good. Good.
kneeled at his feet, like in the Slave Leia pose. Like,
Excellent.
um,
We're getting into
and I was like,
some.
there has to be slash fic about this, and it took me all of 2 seconds to find it.
Oh,
Like,
good. Good. I'm so glad the internet has provided. Do you know who had a huge crush on Michael Dorn?
was it you?
No, it was Ursula Le Guin.
Oh,
She
huh.
had a crush on him. She really loved him, but also she wanted him to be like several of the characters she wrote. Most specifically, though, Genli Ai from Left Hand of Darkness. She was
Hmm.
like, I at some point in my life need to get Michael Dorn to play Genli Ai from this show,
Good.
uh, because he's this big rugged man, and we can surround him with some like pretty waifish androgynous people, and he'll be the manliest man on the planet.
Are they wayfish? I thought that they were more like that sort of chubby androgynous.
Yeah, they're sort
Like
of
when I read that,
yeah, they're sort of soft,
like kind of,
soft and
kind of,
rounded.
yeah. Uh, that's how I always pictured them, as that like more chubby type of androgyny
Hmm.
rather than
Than the like skinny effete
yeah,
fey
skinny anime.
androgyny.
I wish I could draw faster so I could put more city between things out, because I have thought of a lot of really good sassy lines for Connor to say.
Good.
And he can't say them until the next story that he's the main character of. One of which is someone calls him a twink, and he responds that he is too tall to be a twink.
Good.
Because he's like 6'6".
Yeah.
He's much too tall to be a twink. And then I was gonna have him and his husband is like their world's version of a governor.
Oh, good.
So they're doing like a press thing, and someone asked Connor how they met, and Connor is gonna say like, well, when I asked him out, I asked him if he liked climbing,
Right.
because Connor's very tall, and that's the
Right.
joke.
Good.
Yeah, he has to climb him.
Good. I read a very good book with queer main characters this past week. I'm very pleased about it.
Yeah.
It was called The Reckless Lady's Guide to Wizardry. And it was this Victorian era lesbian romance between a higher class lady and a gutter witch. And the gutter witch is the main character, and her dialogue is the best things I've ever read. Like, she's just so full of salt, but also in this like delightfully Edwardian way. And she's very good. I love her a lot. I was very excited for her and her big troll girlfriend to solve crimes in this like it's Edwardian England but also magic setting. Just
Good.
Delightful book.
Good. Have you read The Beautiful Ones?
No.
It's like Pride and Prejudice with psychic powers is the best way to describe it.
Good.
Because
I'm also here for that.
The main character is a girl who like finds out she has psychic powers, and her cousin, who is helping her make her debut in society,
Got to make
is
your
like,
debut in society.
yeah, is like, you shouldn't like practice and get really into your psychic powers. Like, proper born ladies do not use their psychic powers if they have them.
Gasp. How gauche.
That is for performers and new money people.
Right.
So then we have a dude who is famous for his performances with his psychic powers.
Right.
Proving Cousin's point that like showing off your powers is for
new money
show
only.
business.
Yeah, so very gauche.
And because he's famous though, like, it's that thing where like if your family needs an influx of money to keep their social standing,
yes, you can
you
marry a person
marry
below
the
your
new money
station.
into your old-timey family.
And you legitimize them, and they should be grateful for your condescending to bring them into the
yeah,
family.
So he's like in a position where people are assuming that's what's going to happen to him.
Right.
So he's at all these fancy old money parties, and he starts to flirt with main character, who has been told polite society ladies do not use/talk about their psychic powers.
Right.
And he offers to like tutor her in her psychic powers.
Oh, neat.
And it turns out that this is all like an elaborate social scheme because Cousin like humiliated this guy.
Of course.
So he's trying to get close to Cousin to embarrass her and like reveal that she cheated on her fiance with him, and
she's got these awful powers. Huh.
And then he falls for the girl. No, Cousin doesn't have powers.
Oh, okay. Oh, that's the name. I thought it was her cousin.
Well, I don't know her. I forget that it's the main girl's cousin.
Gotcha.
So he is teaching main girl how to use her powers to get close to the cousin character who
Right.
broke his heart.
Right.
Um so and then he gets real feelings for her because that's how
That's how this whole
a
thing
Pride and
works.
Prejudice style book would go.
Right, exactly. And now you're conflicted. What do I do?
Yeah, so
Mope
it's
about
really
it for
good.
many pages.
Yeah, it was very good. A lot of that like study of manners stuff.
Good. Good.
Um that like if you like Pride and Prejudice, but we're like this would be better with supernatural elements.
I mean, always.
Um uh
I mean, that's why
and
I am
not in
so.
like a cheap way like Pride and Prejudice and zombies, but
Yeah. But like an
a,
actual
a, a
thoughtful.
w- yeah.
Yeah. I am up for those style of novels with like a little bit of extra magic in them. I love the Temeraire series, which is like, what if the Napoleonic War had dragons? I'm like, yes,
Uh
please.
that same author, I probably already told you about this, but you should read their School and Mind series. Um it's like her response to Harry Potter.
Oh yes, I've read the School of Mance. Yeah. It's like, what if Hogwarts was a deadly trap, but was also trying to keep wizards safe, but also deadly?
Yeah.
And what if
Yeah.
Harry Potter was even more of an ass and clueless, but is not the
And
main
I
character?
really like I really like the main character
Yes.
describing her like she's like my name's Galadriel, but more all shall love me in despair Galadriel than
Then like happy
uh
hippies, Galadriel.
yeah.
Yes.
Um
I love the school as like, you're super powerful, so I will give you things that will only level the block. And she's like, I just need to clean my
I like
room.
yeah, I need to clean my room. No, I need to like get the cockroaches out of my room. And it's like, well, if you blow your room up, there won't be any cockroaches in it.
Yes.
And it's
Or I
like
can give you the
that does not
spell to like kill
yeah.
everything within a 10-mile radius. So she's like,
Yeah,
no.
that does
In
not
fact,
help me at all. School, I am sorry.
yeah. Yeah. And the school's like, but this is what you're good at. You should definitely give in. Give in, be evil, Galadriel. She's like, no. No, I don't want to. Oh, I think that the final book is out. Now I'm curious. I backed it many
The
months
final
ago.
book, if it comes out in a couple months, I have a pre-order
Okay.
for it. So
Okay, cool. I
I'm
also
gonna
have a
get an
pre-order.
email yeah, I'm
Sweet.
getting an email the minute it comes out. So
Hell yes. And then I'm gonna read it.
yeah.
We can read it and talk
Um
about it. It'll be great.
I yeah, I loved those books. Like
I love her snark.
as someone who hated Harry Potter
Mm-hmm.
before it was revealed that J.K. Rowling was a TERF,
Mm-hmm.
um, I live for these types of books that are like, but what if Harry Potter was actually good?
Yeah. Not that Harry Potter, like, what if what I love about it is like the Harry Potter character in the School of Mance series is like, look at this idiot. Look at this idiot oaf who is
Yeah,
not helping anyone.
yeah,
He's just running around doing what his conscience tells him to, which is the wrong thing in
and
almost every situation.
main girl is gonna destroy magical capitalism, so she has my heart.
She's great. But everyone's
Yeah,
been telling her that she's a big evil witch forever. And it's like, no, but she's going to destroy magical
she's
capitalism,
gonna
and that's great.
destroy capitalism. Yeah,
Yes, she's the ultimate rebel. We love her.
um, yeah, no, those are great books.
Yep.
Um, but oh man, I'm just I'm just thinking about Dax should have been a newt.
I still got that picture open. I keep looking at it.
Yeah. No, Dax should have been a newt.
Yep. I totally understand the reason why they were like, no, we need the actors to be able to act, so let's put them all in headpieces and weird forehead appliances instead. But like, I like my aliens very alien.
Yeah.
Uh, and one of my biggest peeves about Star Trek as a teen, when I was drawing all kinds of fanfic for it, was like, yeah, but what if there was cooler aliens? What if there was great, weird aliens that we could look at?
And I know that like obviously the limit is because of like budget and whatnot
Yeah.
and
But also they wanted
That's
people to be
fair.
able to read the aliens' emotions, and we didn't have the technology like we do now to make
Mhm.
believable facial prosthetics that moved nicely. But
Mhm.
also, I do like a weird, good alien. It's part of what drew me to Farscape, despite the real patchy start, because Farscape's got some good, weird aliens.
I have not seen Farscape. I at the time that DS9 and TNG and Voyager were all
Etc.
airing,
Yeah.
I realized what my problem with a lot of sci-fi shows that were airing at that time was.
Hmm.
Um, I don't care about sci-fi that's based around the military.
Yeah. Fair.
I I could not get into Stargate for that
Hmm.
reason.
Hmm.
Uh, like I recently tried to give Stargate another chance and bounced off it hard for that reason.
Yeah.
Um,
True military.
much much to the frustration of my friend Molly, who really liked it. Um, and then the one thing I did like about Stargate is I feel like the recap episode was written by someone who thinks like me.
Mm.
Because the first season's like clip episode is someone from higher up in the military comes in and yells at them for breaking procedure and quarantine and like
Right.
all
Right.
the
It's like,
bullshit
why did
that
you
they
do it this way?
yeah. Um I was like, you've almost doomed the whole planet because you couldn't follow quarantining procedures.
Hmm.
Um what the fuck is wrong with you? Also like um so yeah, the recap episode just being someone who thinks like me yelling at the cast for
For
being
being
bad at their
idiots.
job.
Like, why are you
Yeah.
such idiots?
Uh Not even idiots, just like you're in the military, you have protocols for a reason,
Yep.
and you're just blatant disregard for them. Um
Some reference. Here we go.
the other thing I was gonna bring up is there's an episode um where Cardassian scientist ladies come to like look at some stuff on Deep Space Nine,
Right.
and um O'Brien yells at one of them and like keeps getting in fights with her.
Good.
Um and she thinks that
Just
he's
cuz.
flirting
Oh god.
because that is how you flirt in Cardassia, overt hostility.
Yes, correct.
Um
She's like, man,
and
this
I was
dude's
like
really into me.
that makes sense cuz so much of Cardassia is like reading the subtext, the secondary subtext and the triple subtext.
Yeah, yeah.
So by being openly and overtly hostile to someone, you are like being like skipping all the like niceties that society demands
Right.
to tell someone your honest feelings.
That's like
Um
just weird and
that so it makes sense that that would be their flirting because
yeah.
like that polite subtext dance, like you can't flirt while doing that.
No.
Um and then it's like to go back to Bashir and Garrick being gay together. Um all Bashir and Garrick do in their first few scenes together are argue about what books are better.
Yes.
So Garrick is flirting with Bashir.
Yep.
Um also um it makes me think that all Cardassian rom-coms are enemies to lovers.
Oh hell yes.
Yeah. I mean they have to be.
Yeah. 100%. So once they actually start
Uh
loving each other though and being in a relationship, how does their enemies to lovers change? Perceptibly? I guess you start doing the like circumlocutions, the social, like,
Yeah.
now I will not say everything clearly. I will hedge my
Yeah.
bets. Okay, I referenced
Um,
this leg. It's not working for me. I'm changing it.
but yeah, Bashir should kiss that lizard.
Yes.
I'm in support of it.
More people should kiss lizards just generally. Lizards are good. Lizard people are fun.
Yeah, I really like the Cardassians in general as far as an alien race goes.
Mm.
I mean, it does fit nicely with their lizards.
Aspects.
Because one of the thing is they're all as far as their civilization is concerned, they're okay with doing horrendously cruel things for an individual for the greater good.
Yeah.
Which if they're reptiles who have moved past their like uh reptile brain survival instincts, and survival of the species is what's more important, it would make sense for them to be that brutal
Mm-hmm.
for the survival of their state or whatever.
I really like the Andarisks in the Becky Chambers sci-fi series because they are like, you mammals are so weird about your babies. Like, you go a little crazy after you have sex with somebody first off, and that's weird. Like, you get all attached immediately, and like you put a
Yeah.
lot of pressure on yourselves because of that. But also, you like, babies just die all the time because we're
Mm-hmm.
lizards and our eggs go wrong sometimes. So it's your mammalian, like, we take like 20 years to raise our babies. It's real weird to us.
uh and that's the other thing why I think like the Cardassians are interesting if they're lizard people, is they're super into the family unit.
Yeah.
um but it seems like that's more of like a social thing rather than like an actual like instinctual things. So it's all these
Mm.
societal things that they have done to counteract stereotypes we have about reptiles.
Yes. To be these like warm, loving family units.
But the thing is like they're not actually like warm and loving. It's more like we are protecting the family as a whole, because making sure the family as a whole is safe makes the community as a whole safe, makes
Yes.
our species as a whole
The whole
safe.
safe.
Um, and so you have stuff like Gul Dukat was going to kill the daughter he had out of wedlock because then that will keep his family unit intact, like the official
Yes.
one.
Yeah. It's like, wow, okay. Yeah, I could see
So
that for your
he doesn't
particular
care
family.
about them because they're his children.
Yeah.
He cares about them as like a societal status thing.
Yeah. Stomob says, what I'm getting out of this is that Cardassians are tsundere. And yes,
Yes.
correct.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. There's an anime called Stop Bullying Me. I forget the girl's name, and I'm like, so that would be Cardassian. Cardassians would watch that anime and be like, why doesn't he understand that she wants to fuck him? Like,
Yes. Yeah. It would be a
because the whole
comedy
plot.
thing about like, oh, this is totally how humans are dumb, and she's
Yeah.
doing proper dating, but he doesn't
Um.
understand because he's a dumb human.
Yes. Um. There's a episode of Deep Space Nine where Bashir gave Garrick Julius Caesar, and he's like, this is a farce, like it's farcical, because how can someone who is commanding a successful empire not know that his subordinates are plotting against him? Like, that's a given. Why doesn't he realize it?
Right.
Like, and Bashir's like, but that's why it's a tragedy. He's like, no, that's why it is a farce.
Yes, correct. He is a fool,
uh
and we are glad that he is dead because he was too foolish to live.
yeah. Um, my favorite history joke that was going around Tumblr was someone being annoyed that September is the ninth month, October uh, why isn't
Oh, if yeah,
October the 8th month, why and November the
yes.
ninth month and
Who
December
fucked
the
this
10th
up?
month? We should kill whoever fucked this up, and
It's
someone
like,
replying, "I have good news for you."
yup.
Um, no, whoever fucked this up should be stabbed. And
And it's like,
the first
well,
reply, "I have good news for you."
you're gonna be very pleased with this.
Uh, and then I kind of wish that even as a joke, Star Trek put out a Cardassian mystery novel, because one of the other conversations they have about books is Bashir doesn't like Cardassian mysteries because the answer is everyone did it.
Yes, correct.
And I was like, I want to see that now. Like,
Yeah.
I want to see the murder mystery where everyone did it.
I played in a LARP like that that was set in space.
Yeah.
There was this
Uh,
game I played in where it was like I had been given my character sheet and we were in space on this like deadly decadent space uh, um, station, and my write-ups explicitly said you murdered this man 10 days ago and now you've been trying to hide it. So you've been like laying low and here's all your excuses. Go. And so I was like playing the whole night being like, man, I'm real good at this. Nobody's even suspecting me even slightly. They all think it's this other guy over here. Perfect. I'm playing my role
and then it
perfectly.
turns out everyone did it.
Yeah, everyone did it.
Um,
Everyone thought they did it.
and then I found like people discussing all the like Bashir and Garrick trading literature stuff. And someone was like, I bet Garrick would love Columbo.
Oh, yes.
Because again, that's a mystery where you start knowing who did it, and it's all
Mm-hmm.
about when will they get caught.
Exactly.
Anyway, DS9 has consumed my brain. Mostly, why isn't Dax a newt? Um,
Need more newt. I'm gonna need more newt
yeah, Dax should definitely be a newt.
in my Star Treks.
What's very funny is I was talking on secret Twitter about how I don't like Dax, and someone was like, "Listen, she's hot and I am shallow, and that is why I like Dax."
I mean, I did certainly have a crush on her as a young bisexual. I also had vague plans to cosplay her because I had almost her haircut for most of high school.
Well, now you can cosplay Ezria, Dax,
Yeah.
because your hair is kind of that length now.
Yeah, yeah.
Or last I saw you, it was that length.
Yep. I do want to put together a Jim cosplay from our Flagmane's death. That is a fun costume and a fun character.
Jim is good.
Jim is very good. I am working on a project about traditional native oyster farms, which
Oh
is
yeah,
pretty funky. Yeah.
cool.
They want some illustrations to go along with some like traditional lore about um, Chesapeake Bay oyster farming practices, which is pretty
Mhm.
funky. Not something I've done before, but I have done the research on the life cycle of a oyster. Let me see if I can pull that one open. Yeah, here we go.
Oh,
I don't know if I can remember what all
the
of
other
these are
day,
called.
I was also playing around with the horse model in Manga Studio,
Oh, cool.
and made some cursed horses.
Oh, very good.
Because the human model, whoever made it, put bones in it.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So
The arms
they
don't
they
bend the
only
wrong
bend
way.
a certain way.
Yeah.
And the horse model doesn't have that, so I just sent you what I did with the horse
Oh,
model.
good, good, good. I want to see this cursed horse with just jelly legs. Oh, that's very good. I like
But a fun
breakdancing
thing
horse the best.
the fun thing about the human model is you can adjust the proportions, um, and make weird gremlins.
Oh, nice.
So those are my Kel was procrastinating with the 3D modeler things.
Oh, that gremlin one is very good. That's just a goblin. Just weird,
Yeah,
skinny little arms and a giant head.
but tiniest legs.
Tiny
Because
legs.
before I put him in a pose, um, these were his proportions. I made the legs as small as possible. Um, the arms I just made as skinny as possible, and then I made the feet and hands bigger, and the head ratio bigger.
Good.
So weird gremlin.
Weird gremlin people.
But so what kind of illustrations are you doing for the oyster farm?
Oh, I've got a bunch of little 3x3 ones, and the one that I just posted up here, I just pulled back up, is like a circle with a bed of oysters at the bottom, and the different life stages the oyster goes through as it develops in the ring
Hmm.
around the outside. And in the middle, there's like a big heap of empty oyster shells, because that's like integral to the environment around there. The people would take empty oyster shells and stack them up into these giant mounds and then bury them. And all of the nutrients from the oyster would go into the soil and then make it like really verdant farmland near the coast. So that's
Cool.
part of what they're doing is like there's this project where they've dug up a bunch of the old oyster beds or all the
Hmm.
big old oyster mounds, and they're like doing soil samples around the area and being like, look at how good this actually was for the environment, having people doing these fisheries. But also the fisheries were like super well managed because indigenous practices are always to be like, don't deplete your
Hmm.
food source, idiots. That's how you
Hmm.
starve. So they're like, well, look, we could actually, if we maintained the freshwater or the oyster beds like they did before, we could actually start renewing the environment around here that's been really depleted. So they're trying to raise awareness of like, hey, oysters, they're really good for the water. They're filter feeders, first off. But B,
Yeah.
if we manage them properly, we could have a fishery here again where we haven't been able to for a really long time. So maybe we should think about that. Let's listen to indigenous people when they tell us how not to wreck the environment. Maybe.
Someone linked a how to trick people into thinking you're cool, and it's all like Lord of the Rings dialogue.
Good.
It's instead of saying shut up, say keep your forked tongue between your teeth.
Good.
Instead of take a chance, say if in doubt, always follow your nose. Instead of saying no, say don't tempt me.
Good.
Instead of saying ouch, that must hurt, say that wound will never fully heal. He will carry it the rest of his life.
That's such a great thing to say when somebody's just served on a very sick burn.
Instead of saying do you want to meet up, say I'm looking for someone to share in an adventure.
Good.
Uh, and then I bet you think instead of I bet you think you're so smart, say I suppose you think that was terribly clever.
Good.
Instead of saying we're lost, say I have no memory of this place. These are good. I do like the he will carry that wound the rest of his life.
Such a good thing to say.
Um,
Oh, speaking of VanCAF, jumping back
mhm.
many half hours, people super, 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 super love Woman in the Woods.
Cool.
I got to talk to a
Yay.
lot of folks about it, and they were all like, "This is great." Lots of teachers bought it to use in their classes. And then the most badass person I've ever seen, they were fantastic, came up to my table. I was like, "What nation are you?" I was like, "What? Like, what do you mean?" And they're like, what's your tribal nation? I was like, "Oh, okay, great, easy, Cree, done. Why?" And they're like, "Great, cool. I'm going around and seeing anyone who has a like native themed print and making sure they're actually indigenous, because people have been exploiting our works, especially here in BC. I don't know if you heard about it, but a couple years ago there was this like really famous BC artist who'd been
Mhm.
doing lots of like Pacific Northwest style art and getting really, really internationally renowned for it. She was not native in the slightest.
Oh.
And she'd been like forcing actual native people doing prints and stuff out of the art scene in town so that she could put more of
Oof.
her stuff
Oof.
up. Yeah, it was real bad, real bad. So I was like, yeah, I do know that you have to be careful about that stuff. And they were like, yeah, so just making sure that you were legit. And I'm like, thank you for doing so. Also, you said that you're from Saskatchewan. And they were like, yes. And I was like, me too. We're probably cousins. And then we did the native thing where you like compare your family line. And it was like,
Mhm.
okay, I don't directly know anyone that you're related to, but I do know that your family is related to mine through my grandmother's side. And I was like, cool. Okay, bye, cousin,
Uh,
which is very native.
I have to think of what I would say to that guy if he challenged me for selling it.
I mean, I
Mm,
just tell the truth. Where he'd be like, "So
yeah.
we've been doing
I'm the
this.
editor.
I'm the editor. We've been
Yeah.
doing this series from like starting in Europe, and I've been hiring on
Yeah.
people to work with me on the
Yeah.
versions that are not me. Done.
Yeah.
Boom. Covered bases.
He still might be iffy on that.
Maybe.
But
They're
mm,
pretty happy that we got all native artists and writers on it, though. And I was like,
yeah.
that. Yep, that was from the get go. We were all on board for that. Hey, we also haven't done a stream since you got nominated for a frickin' Eisner.
Yes. Well, technically I've already like the whole time we've been streaming, I'm an Eisner nominated artist
Yeah, yeah,
because
yeah.
I was
Cause
nominated a few years ago.
yeah, but
But
again nominated,
so double nominated
double
now.
nominated, two-time nominated for the Eisners. Kel McDonald.
It means I have to go to that boring ceremony. Um I don't know if you saw my email, but my little brother is gonna come to the Eisners
Yes, I'm really
to be
excited.
supportive. So
Yeah.
if we need help behind the table, he said he's willing, but he is only gonna be there Friday through Sunday.
Even that is
Uh
more than we had before.
yeah.
And super appreciated.
So I don't know if Sam is also gonna bring help, but
It sounds like he's gonna try to bring his partner. which is good because my attempts to find somebody to help at the table have kind of struck out. I,
Mhm.
uh, I have friends who used to
He'll
live in
probably
town.
wanna, like, do stuff and go to the beach, so it might be, like, he'll help out in the morning and then go fuck off for a while and
God,
then
even
come
if he can
back.
just watch it for lunch so that we can go outdoors and take our masks off, like one by one, so that we don't have
Mhm.
to try and do the weird dance of like, I'm going to try to horf down as much food as I can while my mask is off before I need to take another breath. Because that's no good.
Yeah.
Also, Sam, if left alone at a con, will just not eat all day,
Mhm.
and that's not good.
I'm
You gotta eat.
also
I gotta
kinda
eat.
I'm kinda like Sam in that I'll
Oh
forget to
man,
eat.
I need to eat. I can eat at the table, but I must eat something at lunch, or I will be so hangry and just a mess.
Yeah, so my little brother's a little bit of a bro,
That's fine.
just FYI.
That's fine.
Um, and I explained a couple of streams ago that he is indifferent when it comes to politics because he has the privilege of being that way as a white guy.
Yeah,
So
yeah. Was it
um,
you, your brother? I remember a cartoonist, and I don't remember who, whose brother was coming to see them at some show and happened to be in the hotel where there was a furry convention going on.
this was not my brother.
Okay, and then had to get their sibling to be like, "Yo, what's happening?" And their sibling was like, "It's
He
fine. Just chill
he
out with
does
them."
know he does know what a furry is.
Okay, cool.
Um he describes himself as someone who can speak nerd,
Good, good, but is not.
because all of
Yeah,
his siblings are nerds.
yeah, sort of
But
nerd adjacent.
yeah. But Jay Edidin, when he worked for Wired, was writing an article that was like, do we need to hear Superman's origin story again? Back when the first Zack Snyder Superman came
Yeah,
out.
yeah, yeah.
Um, and I was like, well, I'll do a random survey of my non-nerd relatives because all of Jay's relatives are nerds.
Right. So it
So I did a
skews
quick
the
like
sample size.
survey of my aunts and uncles, like, do you know Superman's origin story? Um, and they all said yes, but we realized they all knew it because of the Christopher Reeve Superman movie.
Oh,
So then I called my little brother up. And
right,
fortunately enough, he was on a road trip with all his bro friends.
right.
So we had five bros. And we asked, do you know Superman's origin story? And they're like, and it was like, okay, do you know Superman's powers? And they're like, yes, he can fly and he has super strength and he can shoot. He has laser eyes.
Yeah.
And it's like, do you know why he has powers? And they're
No.
like, he's an alien,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So they knew that much. They just didn't know
Look, he
that the
gets that
planet was called.
funky high off the yellow sun.
Um, they knew he was an alien. And some of them knew that his planet blew up, but
Good.
none of them knew that it was Krypton.
Right, right, which is, the whole kryptonite and such.
Yeah.
But they were just like, yeah, whatever.
Um,
He's an alien from a planet that exploded. He was a baby in space.
yeah. So, and I was like, that's all someone actually needs to know about Superman.
It's
Like, they don't need to
true.
know that it's Krypton.
But like they got the
Um,
basics. That's pretty
yeah.
good for like I have like just osmosis knowledge of Superman. And like at most everybody's like, yeah, yeah, Spider-Man. I know different franchise, but like Spider-Man, radioactive
Well,
spider,
see,
spider powers
Spider-Man,
now.
we've seen his origin story like multiple
20
times in the
times.
past couple of decades.
Yes.
So I feel like Superman was in that spot where maybe it was good that his origin story was expounded on in the Zack Snyder one.
Yeah.
Um, because it seems like um older non-nerds knew,
Yeah,
but
yeah,
not
yeah.
like my little brother.
Gotcha.
So uh, it's interesting what stuff people get through osmosis and what people
Mm-hmm.
don't. I remember Amanda hadn't seen Star Trek
Oh yeah.
until a couple of years. I mean, not Star Trek, Star Wars until a few years ago.
Right, right,
Um,
right.
she probably has also not seen Star Trek. But she was very surprised by both Luke and Leia's characterizations.
Mm-hmm.
Um, because so she was surprised that Leia was such a badass right out the gate
Right.
because so many people, so many female characters in um pop culture that get talked about the same way as Leia are female characters who get the arc of becoming a badass.
Yes.
So the fact that like right from the get-go Leia's like fuck you, blast some guys.
Exactly. They're like, whoa, okay. Not what I
Really
expected.
really surprised Amanda. And then she was also very surprised how much of a dweeb Luke is.
Oh, he's such a dweeb. He's just like little noodle man. Like, oh,
She
gee
thought it
willikers.
was very charming. She
Good.
thought because she'd heard people call him annoying.
Right.
Um, but actually she's like he's kind of adorable in how much he's a dweeb.
Mm-hmm. I wonder how much of that Leia's badassness George Lucas's wife had to do with, because I know she did a fair amount of writing work that she was never credited for, and that George is completely sort of stolen.
Didn't she also like edit his movies?
Yes.
Uh-huh. Okay.
Yeah. Star Wars would not be Star Wars without her. And like, even though I know that, I still couldn't tell you her name.
Alfred Hitchcock's wife, she edited his movies too.
Yeah.
Um, and he actually admitted that like he would run ideas by his wife, and when she told him he was going too far, that's when he knew that like
That he's
it
actually
was a
good.
bad idea.
Oh, okay. She
Yeah.
was his limiting factor. She was like, no,
Yeah.
no, don't in fact do that.
She'd be like, "That's too weird," or "That's too horrific."
Right. And he'd be like,
And
okay, cool, simmer down. I'll simmer down.
yeah, that's where the line is.
Gotcha.
Um, I read Alfred Hitchcock's biography for a psychology class. We had to pick a famous person and psychoanalyze them.
Oh, cool.
And it turns out I picked an incredibly easy person to psychoanalyze because his whole biography is about how Catholic school taught him that the fear of punishment is worse than punishment.
Yep.
So, and that led to his entire career being like, suspense is better than like gore in
Yeah,
horror
totally.
movies.
The buildup
So
of
I was
scaring a
like,
thing, or of being scared or being murdered, is much worse than
yeah,
the
so
the actual like, oh no, there's a big scary monster on thing. Then you can see its claws.
really easy psychoanalyzing assignment.
Good, good.
um, but I learned a lot about like his life and whatever other bullshit he was up to. Uh,
I
like
had to
how he's
do
got
an assignment like that in grade school, and I still like hate and regret the way it was set up for me,
Mhm.
because there was basically like my teacher was like, right, you're all in like grade 5, you got to pick one of your heroes. But here's the list of approved heroes. And there
Oh,
was like nobody of color on the list. And so I like protested and I was like, I don't want to prove picking anyone then. And they're like, Alina, you need to pick somebody or you're going to get a failing grade on this. And I'm like, no, I hate this.
oh,
Give me somebody of
we
color.
could pick whoever we want, and
Good.
we weren't graded so much on like how much we actually cared about this person's life, but if we like followed a psychological school of
Yeah,
analysis,
yeah.
like
I imagine this also wasn't like
um
grade 4.
yeah, I was a senior in high school.
Yeah, yeah.
Um it was funny cuz like uh I think I picked the least fucked up person.
Good. Good, good, good.
Like everyone just picking their favorite, like, singer or movie
And they're like,
star,
"Jordan
comedian,
hasn't just leave fucked up."
and yeah, no, someone picked, Lucille Ball,
Oh,
who,
yeah.
um, has all the problems,
Yep.
and then I think another person in our class picked Eminem,
Oh,
uh
man. Whew. Yep. No, I got assigned because I was like, I'm not picking anyone, and then the teacher was like, fine, do this then. Florence Nightingale. I was like, I object strongly to this. Yes, great, she healed people in the war, that's wonderful, but she's British and I'm native, and I had serious attitude problems about that at the time, and I would have even more now. I would have told my teacher to go suck it. It got to the point where my mom had to come in and like meet with the principal, and he thought that he was gonna be like, your child is very rebellious, and then my mom like handed him his ass. She was like, it's racist. It's vaguely racist that they were forced to pick from a group of only white people,
Mhm.
not given the choice of the matter. Rawr. And then mom later was like, if you could have picked Oprah, and I was like, why? Oprah's not my hero. I'm like, yes, but she's a great black
She's
woman.
a woman of color,
She's a woman of
so
color who's
and
making
since
it in her life. Because I was like,
yeah.
because mom was like, well, who would you if you picked that? I'll go in there and I'll fight for you and I'll get it so you can pick that person that you like. I'm like, I don't know. I just don't want to do anything on their dumb list. Mom was like, how about Oprah?
I think the rule that we had is it had to be a modern person,
Mm,
um, so that way, like, we wouldn't be, like, psychoanalyzing, like, morality rules that don't apply
yeah,
now.
that makes sense.
Um,
Social mores that are shifted.
yeah.
Hey, lurkin' hurtbag. Somebody is checking out my stream.
Uh,
We're just talking.
I also know, Alfred Hitchcock liked to torture his actors.
Oh, yeah.
Um, he liked to quote unquote play pranks on them.
Yeah.
Uh, 'Cause like one of the actresses in Psycho wasn't quote unquote screaming the right way.
Right.
So Alfred Hitchcock hid the corpse prop in her dressing room.
Ah.
So she screamed when she found it, and he's like, "That's how I want you to scream when we're filming."
Right. Which, maybe not the best thing in the world to do to your actors.
Yeah. Um and then he also like compared actors to cattle or something like that.
Mm,
He did not respect actors. He's like they're tools to be bent to my will.
right, right, right.
Um
You are here to deliver on my vision.
Collaboration, yeah, collaboration with someone who is not his wife was not his strong point.
Yeah.
Uh, and there's a YouTuber I like, that Joe introduced me to called, Broy Deschanel.
Huh.
And it's all, film stuff, like behind the scenes film stuff. And one of their videos was about auteur theory used as an excuse to torture usually female actors.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Um,
Yep. Not surprised there.
and she compared, for the purpose of her video, she compared the way, what's his name? The 2001 Space Odyssey guy.
Oh, Kubrick.
Yeah, Kubrick. Kubrick, um, she compared Kubrick to, the way David Lynch teaches his actors, treats his actors.
Right.
Because they are both quote unquote great directors,
Yeah.
but one of them is a horrific monster.
Yes.
And several actors never want to work with him again.
Mm-hmm.
Um, whereas uh David Lynch, like, despite the subject matter, like, it seems like every actor,
It's like, this is a great
um
experience. I would work with this dude any day.
yeah, like, another YouTuber I like, Maggie Mayfish, did a thing about the Twin Peaks reboot.
Yep.
Um, and there's like an interview with in the Twin Peaks reboot, there is a part where the villain um runs over a little boy
Huh.
in front of his mom.
Yikes.
And this is like the lady's only scene in the whole show.
Right, right,
And so there's like an interview with this lady, and like, so what did David Lynch tell you? And like before the scene, like what was going on? And it's like he didn't really give her a lot of direction, because he just had a lot of faith that she would do it well. And
right.
so there's like a long conversation that even for this like bit part, um he was more interested in like what the actor was bringing
To the
rather than like
right.
a vision.
So just bring what you got. Act. Do it.
And
This is the
it
scene.
seemed very much like um his quotes about it. It seems like the way I feel when someone asks like, "Oh, hey, when you work with an artist, like how much direction do you give?"
Right.
My kind of thought process is like, if you don't trust an artist to make a good call, like,
Why are you
why are
hiring
you
them?
working with them?
Yeah.
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 And I guess it's a little different for like monthly work for hire shit because you don't control who the artist is. That's like Marvel or DC making decisions without
Yeah.
talking to you. Um but yeah. Um and yeah, so it just seems like he hires actors that he has faith in and then lets them do their thing.
I can see how that would be very refreshing for a lot of actors.
Yeah.
Just be like, oh, I get freedom. This to do the thing that my job is. This is
And
rad.
then you have uh Kubrick on the other end where
Yeah.
he basically Shelley Duvall had PTSD after
Yes. Working
filming.
with him. Yep.
Yeah. And then like um what's it called with the weird mask movie that he did that was like his last one?
Oh,
Um
yeah.
you know the one I'm talking about with
Yeah,
the
yeah,
weird
yeah.
sex club. Yeah, apparently he did so many takes that like Tom Cruise was fucking exhausted the entire time.
Right.
Um and he did that because like that was the energy he wanted or whatever for all the
Mm-hmm.
scenes, and it's
Just like
like,
crushed.
why not just tell him, and why not like tell Tom Cruise and Nicole Kidman that you want them to act like
Eyes Wide Shut,
super
Meg
tight.
says. Yeah.
Yeah, eyes wide shut.
Yeah.
Why not communicate to them that you want them to have this exhaustion
Yeah,
to
they're
them
actors. They can do that.
rather than keeping them up for 20 hours straight
Mm-hmm.
um to film a scene
I can't
like
remember the actors from this quote, but there was apparently like a famous old actor having a conversation with a younger method actor, and the method actor was like, "Oh yeah, I've done this and this and this to prepare for this role, and I like haven't slept, and I'm like not eating, and
called
it's great."
acting.
Yeah, and the guy was
I
like,
just do
It's called acting, son. Have you
I
tried
just
it?"
do acting.
Yeah,
And
I
that's
just act.
I believe it was Ian McKellen
It's so good.
saying it. And I think the other thing, it was someone who like is famous now. So like they were young when they had the conversation at the time.
Mm-hmm.
And Ian McKellen just told him, "Yeah, I just do acting."
Just have you heard of acting? It's
Yeah.
literally your job.
Uh, and this same Broe Deschanel person also has a video about how method acting is bullshit.
Yep. The people who are the most into method acting are often the shittiest people who are just using it as a way to
Yeah.
justify their shitty behavior.
Yeah.
Which, also a thing that you get in LARPs and tabletop games a lot of the time, is when people are like, I want to do this shitty thing that'll screw over everyone else on the table, and so I'm going to justify it by saying, it's what my character would do. They're like, yes, but you were an adult, and please don't do that because it will mess up everyone else's enjoyment of this game that we are all playing as a group. You're messing up the group exercise for your own ego.
I remember the first D&D I did. I was with the group of people and I asked them like, okay, so what do we want the tone of the game to be? And I'm like, because I have two ideas for
Yeah,
a character,
yeah,
but like, uh, which one I pick is gonna be the one we focus on,
right.
or the one that I
I'll pick the one that
actually
fits into the
use.
game the best.
Yeah, because first I asked like, are we gonna be good guys or are we gonna be assholes?
Mm-hmm.
Um, uh, and because it was leaning more toward good guys, um, my I went with a teen that's excited to be there is the best way to describe my character. Which was a little bit frustrating for the DM because they kept trying to be like, okay, but what's your character's backstory? And it's like, this is the backstory. They're a teen,
Right.
wide eyed and excited about adventure.
And they're out in the world now, going adventuring.
Yeah.
No, that's what my character would do has not happened in any of the games I've been playing in lately, which is lovely. But it was a thing that like ended many LARPs or many LARP friendships back in the day between, not between me and other people, but between other people around me. They were like,
Hmm.
"Oh God, that's what my character would do. Murder your character," and that's just a
Whoops.
justification for bad behavior in game, because it was a thing they wanted to do anyway. Hmm. I'm not sure what else is going to go in this one. There's a big empty spot in the middle. That will probably be full of gradients once it's in color, but I feel like it needs something else. Maybe an oyster.
A cartoon oyster.
Yeah, big goofy
Talking
eyes.
you through the process. Yeah. Did you see that Hot Topic now has cardigans with Mr. DNA from Jurassic Park on them?
Oh no! I hope Corey Bing instantly has one of those.
Yes.
Good, good, as it should be. I also want one of those. There was a guy at VanCAF doing with
Hmm.
a like science illustration zine, and that was really cool. He's like a scientist in his day job and then an artist by
Cool.
night, and so he had a zine of like, here's a transgenic mouse gene that I'm gonna draw, and it was really cool.
Did you see the speculative biology thing that's getting
Yes, the
kickstarted?
J-Rock is doing.
Yeah.
I'm very, very excited about that. I loved their last spec bio zine, and I'm into this one as well.
Well, the artist who drew Dax as a newt is in the new one. So,
Oh, good, 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 good. Already a fan.
so bringing it back to Newt Dax. Why isn't Dax a newt?
Newt Dax. Everything comes back to Newt Dax, who's the cutest and best thing.
Should be a newt.
Yep.
Fuck this hot white lady with spots.
Mm-hmm.
Newt. There is only Newt.
I I like that actually. I went instead of an oyster floating in the ocean, I've done this like funky energy waves that kind of look like the sun above it. I'm happy with that, I think. It's supposed to be representing how there's a cycle to all things, but also it just looks cool. Yeah, I think that's what that panel needed. I'm pretty happy with that now.
Um, I'm trying to think of. You might be able to help me with this. I'm trying to think of. So obviously Connor's a werewolf, and he has the teen wolf that he mentors, keeps
Mm-hmm.
track of. And I was gonna do like flashbacks of Connor teaching this teen wolf how to control their powers,
Good.
like their in particular their super strength, and just like how not to overdo it.
Yeah.
Um, I was gonna have Connor teaching him to cook because when you crack an egg on the side of a pan,
Oh yeah, you gotta be delicate about it.
um, yeah, you can't do it too hard.
Mm-hmm.
Um, what are other stuff that like you need to have just the right amount of strength um to do?
Like stacking wine glasses or something else really with like a thin stem.
Mm-hmm.
What
I feel
else?
like though you wouldn't want to sacrifice those wine glasses to a kid who's gonna fuck it up.
No. If you were a werewolf of
That yeah,
not a lot of means.
that's why I was thinking the eggs are a good thing
Yeah, because they're cheap.
because they're cheap, and if he fucks it up, like it's not too bad to clean up.
No. What else? I'm thinking like kung fu action training sequences now.
See, I wanted to like to subvert that. Like they're not learning kung fu things. They're
No,
like
there's this very basic life skills for a werewolf.
yeah. To go with the cooking thing, like would kneading dough like
Oh man,
require
actually,
just the right
depends on the recipe. A lot of dough you can kind of knead the hell
go
out
to
of and
town
it's not
on?
too fine, not too bad.
Hmm.
Pasta dough, you don't want to over knead or it'll turn to like rock.
Hmm. Okay, that's good to know.
Have you seen there's a video of this one Japanese surgeon college's entry exams,
Mhm.
and they're ludicrous challenges like making a sushi on a single grain of rice. So you have to like cut the tiniest little perfect slab of meat and then use your tongs to get it onto the the single grain of rice.
Huh.
Yeah, that's more manual dexterity than strength control, but it is very, very interesting to
Yeah.
watch. Oh, it was a very different VanCAF without having you as a guest here at my house, but I did have I was gonna like relax after the first day of the show and drink a beer, but I was like, wait a minute, I am
Get
craving
sake.
the hot sake that we did to soothe our throats while we watched bad anime.
Yes.
So I did not watch bad anime. I did watch some Sailor Moon episodes with some hot sake. That was a
Good.
great way to relax after the show. Did you see that the place that we're going to be staying at for San Diego is going to have a pool?
I did not see that. Um,
I am very
I
excited to live this like California rock star lifestyle as we are utterly destroying ourselves doing this like exceedingly long show.
don't have a swimsuit. I should probably get one.
I have a swimsuit that I hate because it is very femme and I would like a gender affirming swimsuit.
Ow! I've never been much of a swimmer.
Mm,
Partly because I don't like the way wet swimsuits feel.
that's fair. They are very clingy. I am very much a swimmer. I could live in the ocean all summer if you let me. Which is probably why I wound up out here on the coast instead of like in Saskatchewan, where there's lakes, but most of them have the itch because of climate change. So if you swim in them, you will have to get very itchy.
What's the itch?
It's like a
Like, what causes it?
bacterium that, like an algae, that blooms on the lakes, and then you can't swim in them because they're kind of toxic.
Oh.
Yeah, and it happens when there's a lot of runoff from like farm, which go figure. It's Saskatchewan. How would we have a lot of farming going on? Oh wait, that's our main thing. But yeah, it like gets into the water and blooms, and then you can't swim in the lakes. Okay, I think I got most of these down here. Nope, that's the old one.
Another DS9 episode I really like is when the Ferengi accidentally become the Roswell crash.
Good, good.
And
How
Quark is all like, "Oh, let's sell stuff to these dumb humans because
they
they're
don't know any
smoking
better.
tobacco, and if they'll buy poison, they'll buy anything." And while talking to them, he's like, we'd much rather, it's like, if you don't do business with us, we'll have to take our business elsewhere. And because it's the 40s, they're like, you mean you'll take your business to the Russians? You'll sell weapons to the Russians? And he's like, well, if the Russians will do business with me and you won't,
Then yeah.
um, yeah, and it goes, but I'd much rather do business with you Australians. Uh, Varlet is saying, is it like red tides but in a lake instead? The itchy algae thing.
Mm,
Uh,
not as bad because I think red tide kills like all of the fish and stuff. Whereas this just kind of,
makes you itch.
yeah. Swimmer's itch causes. That's gross. They're parasites.
Gross.
That enter your skin. They're spread by ducks, geese, and gulls. I don't think that's it, though. I don't think it's actually swimmer's itch. I think it's... What is the itch, actually, in Saskatchewan lakes? Capel Valley Lake. Pretty sure it's an algae bloom. Yeah, it's blue-green algae, a toxic type of algae that blooms when you get a lot of runoff and when it's really warm. Oh, it's also dangerous to animals, like pets. If pets are swimming in blue-green algae, it's bad. And they can get toxic shock symptoms.
Alina, can you look at my stream for a bit to give me feedback on the panel I'm drawing?
Yeah. Okay.
Let me know when you're looking at it.
Yeah.
Does this read as him tucking in his tail?
It definitely reads as him tucking something into his pants. And I think with the context, because I can't quite see his tail, but it's also really small on my screen.
So you seeing it there, and then this makes it clear that's what he's tucking in
Yeah.
context.
Yeah.
All right.
That makes sense.
As long as it's clear in context.
Yeah. Yeah, the fact that his tail is like right there in the other panel, and then he's tucking something into the back of his pants here. I can follow that, no problem.
Okay, good.
Yeah, this is the other image I'm doing for that series, which is holding the soil that has the little bits of oyster shell in it, surrounded by a wreath of kelp with a little oyster at the top.
Varlet saying, "Oh no, that sounds awful. Nature is equally deeply interesting and horrifying."
Yup. Also, climate change.
Varlet, you
This was
Varlet,
not
you missed
an
our
issue before climate change.
Varlet, you missed our very important talk about kissing lizards.
Yeah, and newts, good newts.
Yeah. Kissing lizards and newts.
Do love a newt, alien.
Should have been a newt. A good anime you should watch is Spy Family.
Oh yeah.
It's delightful. It is about a spy who, the political figure he's after only meets with strangers at school functions for his son's super expensive preppy school. So the only way for the spy to get close to this politician is to acquire a child to enroll in this super fancy school. Um, which he does by getting a child from the sketchiest orphanage in the history of orphanages. Not knowing that the child was experimented on and can now read minds.
Oh, good.
So the child instantly knows that he's a spy, thinks it's rad as shit, and is trying her best not to blow his cover.
Good, good, good.
He then finds out, and that's like the first whole episode, and then he finds out that the school he needs her to get into is super conservative, so
Oh, yes.
all the students need a mom and a dad.
Yes.
Um, so he tells a lady he runs into at a tailor shop that it was his late wife's dying wish for their child to get into this fancy school, and won't she pretend to be his wife for the admissions uh
Bored.
audition.
Yeah, yeah.
um and she agrees because turns out she's a super secret top assassin.
Good.
And she overheard that the government is being extra suspicious of young women who live alone.
Oh, good. So she's like,
So
yes,
she
please
is
be my beard to keep me safe from the government.
but he doesn't know that she's an assassin. She doesn't know that he's a spy. Like, that's her reason for agreeing to the weird
Perfect. And
situation
the kid
of
knows
being this
everything
guy's fake wife.
because the kid is psychic.
Yeah, and the kid knows everything, thinks it's all rad as shit. Wackiness ensues. Um, and it's great.
Love it. Very good.
Yeah, it's very good.
I think that is all I got in me for this evening, art-wise. But I powered through 4 panels. I'm feeling pretty good.
I'm almost done with this page. I only got a couple more panels left, and they're like talking heads, so it shouldn't be
Nice.
too hard to finish.
That's not bad.
Um, Thanks, folks, for watching. We will return next week
Hmm.
for more art chat hangouts. Um, Alina, where can people find your stuff?
You can find me at alinapete.com or weargeek.com. How about you?
And you can find my stuff at kelmcdonald.com. Um, and yeah, come by next week and hang out with us.
Yeah.
Bye.
Bye.